everybody! I am your host, the LightningTurk, and here we will be playing Supremacy 1914. What I want to specifically do is focus on role plays, or RPs, they're shortened to RP. This is going to be my first video, so I hope you all enjoy. Now, first let's get into Supremacy 1914. In a nutshell, this is a free-to-play strategy game which is real-time. So you have to wait before you make your move. You have to focus on pure strategy and tactics. Now, the role-playing aspect for this, basically, what are RPs? Role-plays are historical games or historical-based games, such as 1919. Let's see, what else I have? I'll have the others are in archive. All right. We have 1460s, 1600s, 1800s, things of that nature. So these games involve picking the nation you want to be through the historical aspect, changing your leader, and basically slightly making it up as you go along. It's not we're not heavily focused on historical accuracy. However, border-wise, I personally prefer it. Now, speaking of borders, let's get into land swap and land shuffle. You may know it as land swap or land shuffle. However it is, it's still the same thing. Essentially, land swapping and land shuffling involves changing your borders through either war or trading the provinces, selling them away, in order to make historically accurate borders. So, for example, we have a game that hasn't loaded yet. It's going to involve the 1919 world map. This is something that the Supremacy RP community worked on, and this is something that looks pretty historically accurate, if you ask me. Let's just wait for it to load. In the meantime, let's speak more on role-playing. Now, when you enter the game, you're not just invading whatever you want in role-plays. Essentially, you're making things historically accurate, but doing your own thing in between. I've just showed everyone's troops. Let's just get rid of that. There we go. So, as you can see, the borders are pretty historically accurate. We have Canada, we have the US, we have Latin America looking rough but well. We have the African colonies. We have Europe. Now, of course, certain things need to be taken into account since we can't make everything historically accurate. We need to focus a bit more on balancing sometimes. Specifically in roleplays, there are three major types of roleplays. There are heavy historical accuracy roleplays, where everything is controlled to an extent. Well, everything is controlled. It's not really to an extent. The tech you can make, the weaponry you can make, everything is heavily tweaked. We have the random roleplays, the roleplays that can be on anything, and they usually don't involve land shuffling like this, so they don't really care about making historical borders, they're just in it for the fun. Of course, I support that as well. And then we have the ones that are in between, the ones that are slightly focused on historical accuracy and then slightly focused on balancing, in-game balancing, to give everyone a good chance and a good amount of power in the game. Now, personally, my games go towards more historical accuracy and tweaking for technology and things of that nature. Now, if you're watching this, you most likely already know about Supremacy 1914, and you might want to get into the role-playing aspect. So, all of that aside, in role-playing, we have our country. We have, for example, we have the Empire of Japan in 1919. We have Korea as a protectorate, which is under our control completely. We have the Chinese Civil War going on between the five nations. And here specifically, the rules state that China is supposed to, well, they can take any province they want in China. Like all Chinese countries will fight or can choose to surrender, and at the same time choose to take as many provinces as they want in their own zone. However, this is not the case for countries such as Japan, India, Pakistan, Iran, Burma, etc. in the region. We are not allowed to go into their zone, therefore we are not allowed to randomly just take the province without explaining it at all. So that taking the province without explaining anything would get into land grabbing. And land grabbing is basically we don't really have an example here, to be honest. Oh, we have one example. Earlier on, the Argentinian nation had made a small post concerning the annexation of um, Uruguay, which used to be here in Montevideo. He he made a 3-line or 2-line post, and then he immediately annexed it. This I don't recommend personally, per se, um, because no one else did such a thing. It's role plays are based on heavy posting, like actual heavy posting, like posting everything from your economy to your social condition to your political stability or instability. Therefore, making posts is or a vital aspect. Like you have to focus on posts. You have to read the post most importantly. For example, we have very nice post by the Swedish, the Fin, the Finnish, the Finnish. We have a very nice post by the Finnish where Sweden opens fire onto villages in Oulu. So this is a good post. This is a very good post. This gives your nation the right to be able to fire on your enemy or expand. And we also have, of course, states of land grabbing. Remember to follow the rules. We also have a Swedish post where the Finns open fire on Swedish charity workers. Now, you can see that the two posts are obviously trying to mudsling to the other. You're trying to basically whoever has the best post wins. They win politically because everyone in the game reads the Daily European and should. They understand that oh, this person has a good reason for doing this, or this person doesn't have a good reason. I should not support him, or I should embargo him or her. Now, this also contributes to the road to war. The more heavy or aggressive posting you do towards your enemy, the more rights you would have, per se, in war or in acts of aggression. For example, let's say the Germans had been posting for 2 to 3 days on an aggressive military stance towards Poland. If Poland replies to this and gets the international community rolling, if it gets people reading and reacting to German actions, then German aggression could be curbed. However, um, like in actual history, if the Polish fail to be able to basically cry out loud enough, nobody will really notice, and this war will go quickly and unnoticed by many. Finally, I'd like to discuss alliances within roleplays. Now, this I'm not really fond of because alliances that are too large tend to drift the game into more of a Cold War effect where there are multiple alliances and many nations within those alliances seeing a rival alliance as their enemy. I don't really support that, but I'm fine with it. It's not a problem. That's why I prefer within this game, for example, the 1919 World Map roleplay, for people to focus on economic and political alliances rather than military alliances. And from this one roleplay, as you can understand all of this. You can see the land swap aspect. You can see the um, the land shuffle aspect, the Civil War aspect. you can see land grabbing, you can see making posts. This is what contributes to a good roleplay. If we have the cooperation of all available players within the roleplay, following the rules and doing exactly what they need to do to expand themselves or strengthen themselves, then we will have a long-lasting roleplay. That is what I believe in. And that's pretty much it for this. I'll be making more videos, I hope, if I enjoy this one, if you guys enjoy this one. And thank you very much. Like and subscribe.